Okay, second method of brainstorming is to steal something, copy it. Wearing my Steeler shirt today for the sake of stealing. So go to a new page in your sketchbook, get your tracing paper, find something to steal. You can probably find something on your phone. Maybe you can trace it off of your phone using tracing paper. Or because I'm in my office, I have this here. So I'm going to take my tracing paper and I'm going to steal this image. I'm just going to go ahead and trace this. Oops. I just sharpened it, can you tell? And steal. Picasso has this great quote, good artists borrow, great artists steal. So a lot of students in my class will get upset when someone copies their work, and I say, you should be flattered that your work is so amazing that someone's copying you. And the reality is, when someone copies you, they're never going to create something exactly the same way you would. So even though they're stealing it, your idea, it's going to come out different. So just be flattered. I'm a big sharer. Share ideas because when someone copies you, maybe you steal something back from what they do with your work. Okay, so this is my going quickly for the sake of the demo, but I want you to take your time. So there is me copying or stealing from this image. Now, I want this in my sketchbook because I need a record of it. So I'm just going to flip this. Remember, this is the front. I'm going to flip it upside down, face down, and trace over it. So this is me stealing. So I'm going to cover that. I'm going to, again, the more pressure, the better it will transfer, or the more lead that you have. So a lot of students like to use those plastic lead pencils, but it doesn't work well for lead pencil transfers. So I've got a mustache. Okay, I'll try to do this quick. All right. So that is steal. Second way of brainstorming. I'm just going to go over this a little bit. See, already it looks different because I mirrored it from the original. Now, we talked about the rubric and how I grade, especially for silk screening. A lot of students say, well, I want to silk screen, a Nike sweatshirt, so I just want the Nike swoosh. So I want it to look like the Nike, and I don't want to change it. I want to make it as perfect as I can without having to spend the money on a Nike sweatshirt. That's fine because you're learning the process of silk screening, for example. However, if you try to sell that, that could be considered plagiarism because you're claiming that it is a Nike-made sweatshirt, and it's not. So to avoid plagiarizing, what you're going to do is steal and change. So to change is going to not only avoid plagiarizing, but it's also going to give you a higher grade in creativity and originality. And if you look at my example above here, the ones on the left column is the stolen design. And on the left, you can see at the very top, it's changed, but it's not changed very much. So it's really not modified enough to be more creative or original. The second one is changed way too much that if I wanted something very similar to the original, I see no connection. The moon is so completely different. The third one, I can see where the design idea came from, but there's modifications and it's a lot more creative and it's changed. So what I want to do for this design is I'm going to steal and change. And I write it down in my sketchbook so that I know how I created it. So down the road when I'm struggling, in this case, I'm going to flip it back over. Now there's lead on both sides. So I'm going to flip it over and trace this really quickly. I'm going to try something. I've never done this, but why not? It's a demo. I'm just take a stick and do a rubbing because I know this lead is really heavy. I've been pressing hard. So if I do a rubbing, look at that. It just totally transferred the lead from the other side. That was my super quick way. And because I'm gonna change it, maybe I give him some kind of crazy mustache. Maybe I don't even do the nose. Maybe I give him some really serious eyebrows. So this is me modifying, right? So no nose, funky mustache. Now let's pretend this isn't a face, right? Let's just talk about this shape. Maybe you just traced a vase or something simple. Maybe you take this shape and remember what we did yesterday where we add, subtracted, and mirrored? maybe I just keep doing this kind of like Ripley kind of like, I don't know what's going on, this shape and kind of mimic it, right? So now, back in the context, I have this face with this kind of Medusa hair, and I'm just going to erase the rest because I really don't think I need all that. So now I'm subtracting, I'm adding, I'm going back to mirroring, and I've got this really fun design, and this is what inspired it. So a lot of times, again, this is going back to the original. You would never know that I stole this design to come up with this. And again, this is more original.